Good Sunday morning. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to this week's Community Focus. It is, of course, Pride Month, and joining me right now is Steve Reamey, who's a board member for Equality Toledo. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Now, as I mentioned just before the interview, people probably already know you by this point. Familiar face and voice if people are listening to Party 1033 in the morning. So first, just tell me, what is it like being such a familiar face in the community?
Well, you know what, and I'm asked that. I also do a television show. Love my 419, and a lot of people are like, "Well, you're involved. Why are you doing it? What motivates you?" I love my city, and I came to grips a long time ago that radio and television allow me to do the things to help make this city better by promoting new businesses, bringing different conversations to the forefront. It gives me a platform, and I love the city. I mean, I get tired of every time people saying, "Oh, there's nothing to do in this city. There's not," and we talk about the brain drain. Get out and do things, see things. And I think by being on radio and television, it gets me in touch with the business owners, then I can relay their message and we can have a better community.
And I totally agree with when people say that there's nothing to do in Toledo. There's so much to do in Toledo. And I think that's really where the power in doing things like this come from, is just getting the word out. And like I said at the start of the show, you have your hands in a lot of things, and you're also a board member for Equality Toledo. So give people an idea who may not be familiar with the work of Equality Toledo. What is your guys' mission?
So our mission is basically to educate, support, and give resources to the LGBTQ community. And we do that in several different ways, through community outreach, partnerships with businesses and other organizations within our city, and just being visible, just lending an ear, lending a hand to whatever we can do to better inform our community of what the LGBTQ community is about.
And June, of course, is Pride Month, where we have more conversations regarding the LGBTQ plus community locally and nationally even as well. So what would you say makes this Pride Month different from Pride Months of the past?
I think this year, it's more poignant because we all realize we're living in a time of, injustice. We're living in a time where, the LGBTQ community is targeted nationally and globally. We're living in a time of, just extreme hate and indifference. And I think this year, the voice is there. We're standing up. We're educating people, saying, you know what? People are only afraid of what things that they don't understand. And Equality Toledo is here to say, you know what? Come to some of the events that we put on. Be a partnership with us. See what we're all about. See the things that we're doing in our community and around the country that are setting Equality Toledo apart from a lot of other organizations in the country.
And talking about those different events, there are going to be some opportunities coming up for people to get involved and really be exposed to some of the work happening. So kind of give me a little rundown of some of those events.
Well, actually, we're having the first ever, I'm really excited about this. We're having the first ever queer prom at the University of Toledo this Saturday from 6 to 9. It's going to be at the Student Union. So what this is about, this is a chance to give LGBTQ and trans community people a chance to go to a prom. Unfortunately, some schools are just not as tolerant as others, or as tolerant as we like to be. In a perfect world, we would hope that everyone would be accepting, but that's not the case. So we as a board came up with the idea of, what? Why don't we hold a prom just for our community so the kids can come out, be part of, people that are like them, talk to mentors that are going to be there, be informed, and just have a time to have fun. And that's a free event. So we have talked to Equality Toledo. We have talked with the University of Toledo. We have talked with the ProMedica. So we have a lot of sponsors on board to say, hey, you know what, this is a great idea. So this is going to be a really unique time for high school students within our surrounding area to be part of something very, very special. Our Equality Toledo pantry, we are one of the only Equality Toledo boards in the country that actually has a 24/7 pantry. So if you are, unfortunately, sometimes, as transgender community says, the problems that they're finding, they are having problems accessing, toiletries specific to their gender. So at our pantry, you can go there. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is accepted. Anyone can come in, get food, toiletries, resources, whatever they need. So we just had an event last week. We partnered up with ProMedica, and we basically did a evening event at the ProMedica headquarters where they partnered up with us to help us get some of the things that we need for the pantry, non-perishables, toiletries, and gift cards where we can purchase, fresh meat, fruit, and vegetables for our community. So, I mean, there's so much. Love Fest will be going on July 15th. If you've never been to Love Fest, that's a big event. I'm really excited about that. That is a time for the community and just everybody, not just the LGBTQ community, everybody to come and just be part of the effort of love, be embracing, be intolerant to everybody else, just have a good time. And that is held down on Adams Street, the parking lot right off of Georgie's, 419 in downtown Toledo. I mean, the list could go on. We're doing so many things. November, we will have Flaunt. I'm excited. That's the event that I created. So this will be our fourth year. Flaunt is a huge fashion and art extravaganza. The premise of that event is you're going to see some of the top regional designers. Our Toledo School for the Arts kids also are designers, and we partnered up with the arts. So meaning you'll see a collection, then you're going to see the Toledo Opera. You'll see another collection. You'll see the Toledo Ballet. You'll see another collection. You'll see the symphony. We have numbers of restaurants that donate food for us for the event. It's just a huge event. So if you go to the equalitytoledo.org, you'll see a listing of all these events and everything that we're doing.
And you had just touched on this a little bit ago, that finding acceptance can still be a challenge for so many people, even as it seems that every year society is more progressive and more accepting, the pushback just gets that much stronger. So what are some challenges that you've noticed, whether on a personal level or just on a community-wide level?
I think one of the main ones, and we've kind of jumped that hurdle this year, is just getting our healthcare constituents on board with trying to say, you know what, hey, we are having this problem in the LGBT community, especially with our trans community. They're having problems finding a regular doctor, somebody that, is educated on the process of transitioning, that are educated on some of the needs that the LGBTQ community needs and has that traditional doctors don't seem to know about, don't know how to have that conversation. So through a great effort this past year, we had worked with Toledo City Council, and Toledo City Council passed an organization where they are giving us $50,000 for the next 3 years to go ahead to use those funds to go ahead and educate and inform our medical community on the needs of the LGBTQ community. That's a huge effort. It's never been done where City Council actually appropriates funds toward an education to better that support that the LGBT community really, really needs.
And we just talked about on the local level, Toledo has in many cases been ahead of the national level and even the state level when it comes to issues facing the LGBTQ plus community. But in Ohio, on the state level in particular, there has been a lot of resistance that the LGBTQ plus community has faced, and specifically transgender people. There was actually something that was proposed, the Trans Awareness Day. What kind of message does that send?
That message, I mean, it basically sends that and says that, we just want to be loved. The transgender community just wants acceptance. And we all know information and education can break down those barriers. So what that is saying is, we support the effort, we support the cause, we want our community to be better. And that means all of our community, LGBTQ and the transgender community. So that message is loud and clear, saying financially, we're putting the money where our mouth is. And thanks to City Councilman Ben, and we're doing the things that we need to do. Nick Comives has been on the board. of Equality Toledo. He's our city councilman. He is very, very instrumental in getting this job done, which we have been dreaming about doing for a number of years, to make medical care for our community accessible without that fear of resistance.
And one group that comes to mind when we talk about this a lot for me is definitely the youth. The youth have been through a lot coming out of the pandemic, and we've noticed that a lot of youth have been experiencing higher levels of depression. And now you can only think about the LGBTQ plus youth that are going through this right now. So if you had a message for youth in the community, what would your message be?
I really think, and I remember being that youth. I mean, way back in the day, I remember the fear and the stigma and the lack of resource. You know what? It's tough enough being just a teen, and it's even tougher when you are LGBTQ, because you don't know who to trust. You don't know who's going to give you some of those answers that you're seeking. So what I tell a lot of you, look for the mentors. Come to the event, come to the Queer Prom, come to Love Fest, come to any of our Equality Toledo general meetings. The resources are there. The answers are there. The support is there. The mentorship, I feel, is the biggest part, and we're really trying to do is the mentorship. It's more than just seeing, what is portrayed on television as an LGBTQ person. Look and see who the people are in our community. Talk to them. Go to the local coffee shops. Have a cup of coffee. Have those conversations. Role models and mentorship are extremely important, especially if there's not a father figure in the home. These are the things that are ready here in our community that, our youth can tap into.
And I feel like this is always an interesting question, because every time you ask someone, their answer is different. For you, what does Pride Month mean?
Pride Month just means there's so many things. Pride Month means, we've arrived. Pride Month, this is the time to break down the stereotypes. This is the month to show our community in a positive and different light. This is a time where we can rejoice with others like us, bond together through celebration, through activities, through meetings, through conversations. You go to we just had Old West End Festival this past weekend. And that was a great time. It's traditionally known that a lot of our LGBTQ community do live in the Old West End. But you go to some of the parties and the tone was you just saw the confidence and the freedom in our community to be who they wanted to be with any kind of resistance. It almost brought a tear to my eye. It was so neat to see.
Steve Reamey, a board member for Equality Toledo, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jaden.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And that's this week's Community Focus. Have a great rest of your week.